Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to the Four Seasons of Film podcast, hosted by Nathan Robert Blackburn and co-hosted by me, Andy Pescia. We have our list of We have a list of you f***ed me up, man. Anyway, this is our first time watches of 2023. Hope you enjoy the episode. I was trying to remember. I was telling you I was going through my movie. It was like March was the 1 month like I didn't keep up with it.
If you don't do it every month and every single time, then why do it at all? That's the question.
Right. But I was trying to figure out why. Because like there's not even one fucking entry.
It's hard to write down every film that you actually see per year, but once you start, you use that muscle, and I can't remember how many weeks it says to form a habit, but once you form a habit, it becomes addicting and it becomes a competition because at the end of every year you go, I surely beat last year's.
Right.
And I did this year. I watched 555 films. Last year I watched 512.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a lot. That's a way more than me.
Writer's strike.
Oh, true. Yeah.
And I wasn't filming a TV show.
Right.
But I also read more books, and it was a more productive year at home. That's for sure. But you know, when I say it at home like that, I say it because I didn't want to be at home. I wanted to be out.
Yeah,
I wanted to be making stuff.
Exactly. It's over now, thankfully. New year, new us. Or same us, but new year.
Wish we had music on this podcast.
I do.
Send in the clowns.
That's my favorite karaoke song.
But we're talking about first time watches. And though I saw 555 movies last year, and I don't say saw, I say screened, because I didn't watch them and I didn't see them. I screened them. Do you know what the difference is?
Why don't you tell the audience?
No, I think the audience has come to know you and your ignorance, so let's hear it.
I feel like I screen my movies too then.
Okay. I mean, you put them through a machine and then the imprint was left on a t-shirt, right?
Sometimes.
Screen printed.
Yeah, no, I get the difference because it's...
No, you don't.
No. Well, no, it's watching it with a different lens. Like you're watching...
You almost said, yeah. You almost went, yeah, I know. I'm full of shit.
No, I get it. I screen movies too. I'm fucking...
235 of them were first-time watches this year, and I take great pride in that.
That's a lot.
I made
almost half.
I made a great deal of effort to watch a lot more first-time watches this year. And also, by the end of the year, I made an effort to watch more modern movies because I keep looking at my work and in trying to get better as a filmmaker. I realized that the movies and the filmmakers that I try to emulate through my work, they are all from a long gone era. And my
this coming after the Scorsese podcast.
And my work does not necessarily reflect a modern filmmaker's work as much as I would like. I don't know what your thoughts are on my work, but I made an effort because if you're going to compete in today's society, you're going to have to know what's out there and what people are used to. And of course, there's the argument for breaking the mold and being yourself and, you know, not catering to the needs and the wants of what's commercial and what is acceptable. And also there's reality.
Yeah.
I was
going to ask, do you want producer Andy or artist Andy?
Producer Andy would be nice.
Well, come on. You got to put something in there for the kids.
Well, I don't know. You know, but what I'm saying is it's more about it feels like modern filmmaking is more about it's less about the shot composition and more about footage and coverage and montage, to be honest. Montage of like pretty skylines and daylight and stuff. And in my kind of filmmaking, it is less handheld and more about, you know, wide shots and capturing the action from the character and the story point of view than it is looking sexy or making it look like a dream. Mm. And those two styles will soon meet because, like I said, I have studied modern filmmaking this year, and I enjoy it. I think there's some really talented people out there.
For sure, there is.
Which I will get to in my first time list. But I only think I think the most modern movie that's on my favorite first time watch list is from 2022.
Well, okay. Yeah, all my movies on my first. Well, I made a list of all the first time watches for me that didn't come out this year. I mean, I have the list of everything.
Okay, well, that was going to be a rule change that I was going to spring upon you while we were recording.
Ah, look at this! I thought ahead.
So it's not fair if it's a first time watch that it came out in 2023 because
I got
no shit.
Yeah, I got one 2022 movie on there, but other than that,
Okay, if it came out last year, that's fine. But because of course, as the Oscars get closer, we're going to do our best of 2023, and it's redundant to say first time watches because it was the last fucking year.
yeah, for sure.
So those immediately get X-nayed from the list.
Yeah, yeah.
I made a cumulative list. That means
I know what cumulative means. All right, listen. I have a cumulative list as well.
and I'll narrow it down based on my mood and the way that you speak to me about film history and about your filmmaking knowledge.
Okay, I made a top 10. They're not in the order of a top 10.
Well, I mean, I guess we'll figure that out together then.
Yeah.
What was your favorite of all of your? How many do you have?
Well, I made a top 10, and then I watched because here's my numbers. Well, March is missing, so I averaged like at least 13 to 14 movies a month. So it was 176, and then 31 of them were first time watches before 2023.
Okay, you threw a lot of numbers out at me, and that's not the question that I asked, but I appreciate you saying
no, I did
something in English.
Yeah. Okay, so I made a top 10, and then I got the rest of the other ones. My favorite, I would have to say, it's a tie between two movies. That's why they're not in an order.
I don't want to hear your favorite. I want to start with the ones that you were like, eh.
Oh, and okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Blood Diamond.
Oh, come on. I thought you were going to say Good Burger 2.
Oh, no, that came out this year.
I know, it's disqualified. Otherwise, it would be on the list.
I did watch it as well. So some of my favorites I put on.
No. I want to ease into this, please.
Okay.
My list is comprised of first time watches that you are not going to want to hear about at all.
Okay. Fine.
And I mean, I relish in that fact, and yes, I did say relish to pique your interest.
Yeah, thank you.
But a lot of them we did cover already on a podcast this year, so I'm trying to avoid those too. I'm trying to focus on my favorite first time watches that I did not tell you about because I did not feel you worthy of them.
What do you mean worthy? maybe they're not worthy. I'm sure they're worthy. But.
Listen, I've stopped telling people what my favorite movies are, or even movies that I enjoyed, because people are just going to disappoint you. They're just going to say, oh, I haven't seen that, or oh, I didn't like that, or oh, that sucked. You know, it's nobody ever goes, oh, that sounds really great. I'm going to watch that.
I do that every week.
Yeah, you're full of shit. You're
Sometimes
so full
I
of
do.
shit.
I get to them.
You're so full of shit. That's why I have a secret list I don't share with you until we get to a first time watch podcast.
All right. Well,
Happy New Year, by the way.
happy 2024.
Oh, God. Okay, so I'm going to start out. And I'm going to bore the pants off you.
All right. Go ahead. I'm ready. I want to, maybe there might be one on there that I'm like, okay, cool. And then success.
Okay, so I saw for the first time this year the Three Colors trilogy by Krzysztof Kieslowski.
I've heard the name before.
Okay, how have you known this?
I don't know what the trilogy is about. But
So you've heard the name before, but you have no idea why or where.
yeah, exactly.
Great. Okay, so Kieslowski is one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. He makes amazing, what they would call world cinema, what I would just call cinema outside of the United States.
Okay.
And my favorite thing he's ever done is a series of 10 short-ish films called The Decalogue.
Oh, that's how I know. You told me about the Decalogue.
And what do you know about The Decalogue?
It's 10 movies long.
I just said that.
And it goes through the life of somebody.
No, it's 10 drama films, each one based on one of the 10 commandments.
Ah.
And it was made in 1989. It's so moving that when you watch it as a whole, it's so moving that he did, because 10 is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
10 is a lot of films to make, and they average about 50 minutes each.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and They're very moving. They're very powerful. They may be based on the Ten Commandments, but they're not overtly religious either. They're kind of like morals.
And set in modern times.
It's kind of like the George Carlin Ten Commandments.
Oh, yeah, that's very cool.
But it's just wonderful pieces of filmmaking. And, I've always loved that series the most. And of course, when you love something that much and it touches you that much, you go back and you watch the director's other works, or at least I do, and not the soulless bastard that's on the podcast with me this week.
Sometimes I do.
Yes, the artwork of Pauly Shore.
No, that was a long time ago. I've moved on.
In the Army now. Classic.
It is.
So he made a series of films later in the 90s called the Three Colors Trilogy. And you've never heard of this.
No. I've heard the Decalogue, though.
This is so disheartening. He made one called
Hey, you made this list, not me, man.
Blue, Red, and White. All right. They're all three amazing. Of course, you like one more than the other. They're all starring different people, and they're all individual stories. But much like the Decalogue, they're very impactful. They're beautifully made, and it just reminds you that there are actual Picasso, Van Gogh painters of cinema out there that once upon a time were allowed to make these movies with the budgets they needed, with seemingly unconstrained, and I'd put them right up there with anything in the Sistine Chapel. This is the creme de la creme of cinema, and I couldn't get you to watch these movies if I fucking paid you $50 per movie. I mean, if I said I was going to a Kieslowski Film Festival, you would go, why?
I'm out. Oh, I'm kidding. I would go. I would
No,
totally
you wouldn't.
go.
You totally would.
You know what? You asked me to go to something like that, I would.
Okay, 1993, the first one, Blue, is about a woman struggling to find a way to live with her life after the death of her husband and child.
Oh, man.
Number 2.
Deep. That's depressing. Is that why it's a trilogy? It's the depressing trilogy?
Number 2, The White is about after his wife divorces him, a Polish immigrant plots to get even with her.
Wow, a revenge.
And the third one, the Red is called Red, is about a model discovering a retired judge is keen on invading people's privacy.
Okay, so what's the through line for all three of these?
There isn't a through line. That's the thing. They're standalone movies. Well, that's not true. See, that's the kind of fun thing about them.
See, I'm waiting.
The stories aren't really through lines, but the characters on kind of the outside come together a little bit.
Oh, well, that's super cool.
Yeah. And so you don't watch it for that reason, but when it happens, it's so fucking rewarding.
Gotcha.
You know?
Okay.
It's like watching Slacker and everybody having the idea for that movie. It's, what if I have a conversation? We follow that for a little bit, and then the camera just moves to an entirely different conversation. We follow that story for a while. Right. I don't know how many of my fellow peers or people I went to film school with or people that they're not even storytellers, they come up with that and they pitch that to me, and I go, yeah, everybody has that idea.
Right.
Everybody has that idea.
Have that idea.
But it's in the way that you tell a story, so you can't condemn it, to be redundant or something.
Gotcha.
These three movies, there's a moral to each one of them, but it's really just about like you're saying, not depressing, but very heavy. The movies are heavy because of how intense the subject matter is. The middle one is the most comedic of the two, the revenge one.
Okay, sure.
So you'd probably like that one the best because you don't have to ask the deep questions about yourself or even challenge yourself intellectually.
I mean, I ask myself deep questions all the time.
It's the most popcorn one of the three. The other ones deal with very, very dramatic. Even the middle one. I mean, talking about divorce and revenge, and that's very dramatic. But the other one deal with death and a little more serious subject. If you're so inclined to label them that, heathen.
Hey, man.
Yeah, so that's in my. I might have started out with my favorite first time watch of the year with the Three Colors trilogy, only because I wanted to embarrass you with some of the best filmmaking in the world that you will surely never screen. Do you have any questions for me about any of the films or about my top pick?
No, I think you've
Moving on.
covered it quite well.
My God, see that? And
I'm gonna watch the Decalogue. Oh yeah, now I remember why. Because I was like, dude, that's gonna take me a year to fit it. I mean, because it's like, well, it's 10 hours, right? Give or take 9 hours. Okay.
But please entertain me with your first. Don't in any order. Just whatever one you want to talk about first. Your one of your favorite first time watches of the year.
Okay. Well, let's keep with your categories then.
I don't have any categories.
Sunset Boulevard. That was a first time watch last year.
Did we talk about that on the podcast already?
I don't know if we did or not.
I think we did, but let's just rehash it for fun.
I mean, here's the thing, man. Some of these movies we have already talked about.
And Sunset Boulevard came out in what year?
1950.
Okay, you wrote that down.
I did.
That's not fair.
I did. All I did was write down the main actors and the director.
It's not fair. The rule here is to what you consumed as a viewer.
And then the rest is just names.
Okay, give
Titles.
me that. Give me the book, because now it's up to me to read to you what you wrote, and you don't have any of the facts that you wrote down to cheat.
No, I don't have any facts.
I'm only interested in what you absorbed as a fan of these movies, not what you've memorized or written down so you can sound smart.
No, I didn't sound smart. I just wrote down the year,
Schmuck.
the actors, and the director.
Okay, that's great. So Sunset Boulevard was one of your favorite first-time watches because why?
I know it's been a classic that everyone talks about for years, and it's always embarrassing to say.
I've only met one person that didn't like this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I could see. I'm surprised.
But you could see that?
No. I could see probably who that is.
I'm gonna sue you for liable, but that's fine. But this was directed by Billy Wilder, who is, of course, one of my filmmaking heroes. I mean, I have a picture of him on the desktop of my computer because it reminds me to write scripts as great as Billy Wilder would, or try to at least. But yes, so any movie directed by him, and it is near and dear to my heart. This especially because it's about classic Hollywood. It's about a screenwriter in classic Hollywood, and it also is about a silent film actress that is or was in Hollywood. So you're hitting a lot of quadrants here for me. It's like what Babylon tried to do.
Yeah, but this was
more successful, I think.
And starring Gloria Swanson and Billy Holden.
Bill Holden, huh?
William Holden.
Okay.
I just like to, be on a friendly basis.
And famous director also who played the butler.
Hey man, I got
There was a butler in this?
I remember the butler because he keeps going up to her mansion.
I told you about the thing about the chimps, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I won't repeat this because it's a family podcast. Or we already covered this.
We didn't talk about the chimps.
Not on the air.
Camera.
Okay.
No, not on air.
Everybody else can go Google Sunset Boulevard and chimps meeting.
This was a car ride. It was one of the best stories ever.
It's an unbelievable
and it was
story.
after I watched the movie too, so it was it was even more impactful.
Blame Gilbert Gottfried. I'm just gonna say, but yeah, quickly surmise this because you're ruining this podcast.
Gloria Swanson is an actress that's
no. Tell me why you like. Everybody knows Sunset Boulevard.
Okay.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
fine. It's
fine.
a screenwriter that gets taken in by an aging silent film actress that's not in the business, and she thinks she is still.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, why do we like this movie as a first time watch of the 2023 year?
Because the achievement of actually watching it, so that when I talk about it,
Sorry, did I cut you off with "Oh Jesus"?
B is that I really did enjoy the story. I wanted to see what was gonna happen to Bill Holden, and if he's I can't do it. I wanted to see what was happening to William Holden. And is he going to really pull this off? And dupe this woman? And come on, man! I'm seeing one of the classic one of the most quoted iconic lines ever on the screen.
Okay, 2 questions. Dupe her into what, and what is the most classic line on the screen?
I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille.
Oh, so you cheated, and that's not the line.
What do you mean that's not the line?
That's the line everyone says, but that's not what she says.
Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up. Is it just for? It's whatever. You know what I'm.
It's like the "we don't need no stinking badges" line.
Yeah.
It's the gist of what they say, but it's not exactly what they say. And you have probably Googled this so many times that it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But, oh yeah,
Yeah. Obviously not.
Okay, great.
I didn't Google it today.
And what is Bill Holden? What is he duping her into doing?
Because they're trying to get. She thinks she's going to get that part in that screenplay.
Okay, but why is he duping her?
Because he's trying to fucking become famous. He becomes her little cabana boy, and she falls more in love with him. He's trying to get away.
How is he duping her? You're making no sense.
The relationship takes a turn, man.
She didn't really watch this.
I did watch it. You were with me. We watched it together.
He's not trying to dupe her into anything.
Well, he's trying to further along his career.
By doing what to her?
Cabana boy.
No, he's hiding out being her cabana boy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh my. See, this is what I'm talking about. Screening versus watching or seeing. You have failed, sir.
I screened it.
So, another one of my favorite film first time watches of 2023 was a movie called In the Mood for Love.
Ooh.
Came out in 2000. It's about two neighbors that form a strong bond after both suspect extramarital activities of their spouses. This one was tragically beautiful. I always quote something like Lost in Translation for modern people that have seen movies that really it feels like that movie affected a lot of people on a very internal, deeper feeling.
For sure.
Relationship movie. Not a lot said, but more felt, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. In the Mood for Love is very much in that vein where it's about these two married people that meet up, don't really get together besides just to be with each other and feel each other's pain of what they're going through because they suspect that their spouses are cheating on them. There's no sex. There is no kissing. There's no intimacy. They don't touch each other the entire movie. But yet they share this relationship that is so full of yearning that my heart breaks just thinking about watching this again. It was so traumatically moving that these people were so moral about their situation, they didn't even speak about it. And the way the story is told, you don't really know what happened, and if it happened, you're kind of guessing what?
He's snoring. It's just funny. Every time you take a pause, you just hear a snore.
I thought that was you.
No, man, that was Nina, man. I'm sorry, I couldn't hold it down.
Anyway, so the way the filmmaker Kar Wai Wong tells the story, you see what it's almost in that Rashomon way, or in that for the plebeian sitting next to me, the Clue way.
Plebeian, like Rashomon. You're like a fucking. You get
the way they show they show situations is what I should have said, what I did say, what would have happened, those sort of things, and then they show reality to some very serious situations. It's one of the most tragic movies of all time, as much as it is one of the most romantic movies of all time. It is so gorgeous. And another one that Andrew Pesci will never set eyes on. Not even close. Not even close.
Okay.
All right. So, any questions about the In the Mood for Love for me?
No, man.
I'm going to keep this going, too. I'm just going to keep mentioning movies you were never going to watch. Ever. I mean, have you even seen Lost in Translation?
Of course I've seen Lost in Translation multiple times.
Please do not say, of course, like anybody in history thinks you've ever seen a movie.
Oh, come on. I've seen a lot of movies.
I'm
in the medium tier, man. I'm in the medium movie watcher tier.
Yeah, spoken like a true asshole. Okay, so anyway, I want you to... What? You've never seen Begin Again?
That was the first time this year.
I don't think that's true.
No, that's true,
I've
man.
watched it with you a million times.
No, you haven't.
I've watched it. I've seen it 5 times.
I know you have. No, after we saw
This is not true. We talked about this before last year.
No, it was after Sundance. I never saw it, and we watched it.
Okay, so the John Carney film Begin Again, 2013, starring Mr. Mark Ruffalo and Ms. Keira Knightley, about the record executive who gets fired and he has to go out or he wants to go out and he creates a brand new album, and he makes the music with a ragtag group of musicians on the streets of New York.
That's right.
What a beautiful, beautiful conceit that is. I mean, just saying that out loud, I go, I want to watch that again.
I know you've told.
And you're claiming you've never seen this before.
No, you told me for years to watch it. You said it would be right up my alley.
And like everything, you ignored me.
But not 2023 was a different year, my friend. And I watched it because it was after we saw. Well, you guys saw Flora and Son
At Sundance.
At Sundance.
Yeah.
And then I never saw it Begin Again. It was the only John Carney film I haven't seen.
And now we
Oh my
think...
God. This was my favorite first time watch of last year.
Oh, come on.
Tied with another one, for different reasons. But it's just, come on, it's just right up. It hits on everything that I enjoy. You got Mark Ruffalo.
That's the number one thing you enjoy. I love that.
He's
Somewhere Mark Ruffalo is very uncomfortable right now.
The music in all his films are always spectacular.
He's going to cross the street if he ever hears this from you.
And of course, making an album just in the landscape of New York City as the background room tone for everything, and just the way it's everything that I love in one movie.
You know, it has everything that I love in it.
Yeah,
Number
music,
one,
recording.
Mark Ruffalo, yumma yumma yumma.
I was gonna go. No, I was gonna finish. He goes out in New York.
I mean, I love the movie so much. It for me, it is.
I do love Mark Ruffalo.
It's amazing. I wouldn't start with Mark Ruffalo in the movie.
That was a brain twitch, man. Whatever. I do love Mark Ruffalo.
I'm
love
so
his work.
into Mark Ruffalo.
Always have, even since Eternal Sunshine.
You know, it's Eternal Sunshine, but that's okay.
And that's Eternal Sunshine. That's a different section of movie.
And it also that's not the full title.
Eternal Sunshine of
You just said internal again.
No, that's just how I say eternal.
Okay, so you like Begin Again because yeah.
And it's a feel good story. You just feel uplifted, even though Mark Ruffalo's down on his luck.
It's called a movie. It's called a movie.
Yes,
it would be so boring if his main character was successful the whole time. What kind of movie would that be?
The Andrew Pesci story.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
Wow. All right, so I'm going to talk about The Heiress from 1949.
You having fun?
I'm having a blast because
I'm glad.
I can do this podcast alone. You know that.
Pretty much at this point.
I mean, there is nothing about film history that you actually like on this podcast. I don't even get me started.
What do you mean don't you get you started?
Don't even get me started.
It's a new year, man.
1949's The Heiress. A naive young woman falls for a handsome young man her emotionally abusive father suspects is only a fortune hunter. Again, wow. This William Wyler. This directed by William Wyler. Unbelievable film. Very simple plot line, okay? Kind of a you say aging woman who hasn't been married yet. She's 23.
Oh, wow.
Set in 1949. Wow. But back in these days when the movie is set, and I think the movie is actually set like turn of the century New York, turn of the 20th century. So it's in a very the Gilded Age kind of
Gotcha.
era. But she's not married yet. She's getting up in years, 23.
That's so horrible.
And she doesn't look that great because they put all this fucking shit on her face. And it's Olivia de Havilland, who's one of those beautiful people I've ever seen in my life. But they like dress her down and they make her kind of look haggard. And so she's not getting married. And so along comes Montgomery Clift.
Oh, I know him.
And
he's an actor. I've seen pictures of him. I've never watched any.
You
of his
know
film.
him because you've seen pictures of him.
Yeah.
You've never seen From Here to Eternity. You've never seen
No.
A Place in the Sun.
No.
You've never seen Judgment at Nuremberg.
No.
Okay. Some people would say that James Dean and Montgomery Clift and Marlon Brando were of equal ilk of some of the best actors of all time.
All right.
That's how stupid you should feel right now.
What do you mean how stupid I should feel, man? Hey, no.
Great argument.
Come on,
No.
Brando.
No, is my
Brando was
argument.
closer. But
Imagine if that worked in court. Your Honor, he killed him, and here's the claw hammer he did it with. In rebuttal, no.
it can. Okay, whatever. I've never seen a Montgomery Clift movie. So
The Heiress is all about whether this guy Montgomery Clift is just trying to marry her because he's into her family's money once dad dies. And not even once dad dies, because she has already inherited her mother's fortune from when her mother died. And when dad died, she gets the rest of the family's wealth.
Okay.
And does Montgomery Clift know this? Is he in it for the wrong reasons? Or does he love her for real? Does he love her for the right reasons? And so her suspicion is afoot. Dad's suspicion is going off the Richter scale. You don't know who to believe. You don't know who to trust. And that's why it's a great thriller of an emotional thriller of a movie, because you go, my God, I hope, because Olivia de Havilland is so good in this movie, you just want Montgomery Clift's character to be legit so she doesn't feel bad, so she doesn't get fucked over. Because she is so, she's just so angelic and nice and charming in the movie. And Montgomery Clift shows up and he's like, I'm like the most beautiful guy in the world right now. And so you go, oh, I really hope that she nails that guy.
What? Yeah, okay.
Not nails in that sense, but that's not what was going through my mind.
Hey, listen, man. She's 23. She's getting up there in years.
Nails. That's the wrong word to use. I mean, nabs. Nabs is the right word there.
Nabs more than nads.
It's a very strange Freudian slip. But it's also not a movie for you. That's 3. 3 out of 3. Not a movie for you. It's about love.
Right.
It's black and white.
I love love.
1949.
Who doesn't love love?
It's about an actor you've never seen. You have no idea how to spell de Havilland. And you certainly have no idea who the fuck William Wyler is.
No.
This podcast is becoming ridiculous.
What do you mean it's ridiculous, man?
You're like a fucking Harry Potter spell.
Hey, I'm like right there with the average moviegoer, man.
Anyway.
Today's episode of the Four Seasons of Film podcast is brought to you by Phil's Coffee. Phil's specializes in handcrafted coffee made one cup at a time. Visit a location today or find them on the web at philscoffee.com. That's Phil's with a Z, coffee.com. Find the beans you're looking for.
Man.
Anyway, I would love to hear your next on your list after the disappointing Heiress bio. Let's see. I would like to hear about Annie Hall from I forgot we watched this this was early on last year.
Yeah, it was.
I was
February.
cooking dinner and this was on in my living room, and you had the temerity to sit down and watch Annie Hall for the first time.
Lots of temerity.
I allowed you to watch Annie Hall for the first
man.
time.
You've been telling every time we scroll by, you're like, I can't believe you haven't watched this. I'm
Okay, but first of all, what's your favorite joke from Annie Hall?
I like it when he's in the movie theater line and he tells the guy off.
Okay, see? Thank God you at least remembered one, because there was a long pregnant pause there where you went, oh, fuck.
No,
there were
man.
jokes in this movie?
It was very witty. It's very funny. Woody Allen, man.
Woody Allen. It's very witty. Very witty.
He is. I love that dry sense of just with that quick tongue humor, man.
1977's Annie Hall won Best Picture. It's about Albie Singer, a divorced Jewish comedian. He reflects on his relationship with ex-lover Annie Hall, an aspiring nightclub singer. A movie that changed comedy films. Introduced us to, didn't introduce us to Diane Keaton, but really introduced us to Diane Keaton, if you really want to talk about that. But tell me why you like this movie, because it's a very important movie for me. I've seen it probably at least 10 times. I've always wanted to make a movie like Annie Hall, but I think everybody wants to make a movie like Annie Hall, and it's almost impossible. The closest one I've come to seeing is 27 Dresses.
Okay. Yeah, I love that movie.
I'm totally bullshitting you. I can't believe you didn't go, are you fucking kidding me?
What? It was the, oh, yeah. Well, because
27 Dresses has nothing to do
Ending. Well, I'm
with Annie Hall.
Yes, and
And by the way, I've seen 27 Dresses 5 times. But it's nothing. You took the bait and you ran with it, and now I snagged you like
shut
like
up.
Moby Dick.
Oh,
And I do mean one of those two words.
yeah. Which one? Moby?
Tell me
Well,
why.
first off, the comedy, like I stated with my first
Oh yeah, tell
segment.
me your second favorite joke in this.
What I really enjoyed about this movie is actually because the way that their relationship throughout the movie goes.
Who's they?
Diane Keaton and Woody Allen.
I mean, Annie Hall and Albie Singer.
Yeah, as one does.
Did you just shush me?
I said, sure.
Shh! Don't tell them I don't know.
It's our secret. It's the push and pull of the relationship, and it's not cliche. It's very real, their relationship, especially for a movie that came out in 1977.
Very good. I only said it 3 times.
All right, cool. Yeah, I just the nuances of that, and also too, if you've never seen it, not spoiling the end, but you know how things end up for LB Singer and Diane Keaton. Annie Hall, the name of the movie.
I mean, you could have used words like revolutionary. You could have used words like comedic genius. You could have used words like Diane Keaton, beautiful.
Oh, it's best. Her performance, she was just so stellar in this. Stellar, there's one.
Oh boy,
there's a buzzword. Annie Hall, man. Well, and plus, it's just classic. I'm glad that 2023 was the year that I finally saw Annie Hall.
I mean, I think you should write down like notes about these movies. Because you have nothing of substance. It's always the same thing. It was very good. The cast was stellar, and I watched it.
Well, okay. Well, I'm not supposed to have anything.
Share some insight.
Use my knowledge.
Share some insight into the words favorite first time watch of the year. Why was this one of your favorites? Why hadn't you seen a movie like this before?
I don't think I've ever seen a movie like this because I wasn't in a right. Like I always had an apprehension to like these types of movies growing up. I don't know why, because I was an idiot. But now getting older and softer, is that like I said about their relationship is just the way it wasn't a perfect relationship. The way they, together, not together, and but they still had that through line, that line of connection throughout everything,
Look, Geppetto, I'm a real boy.
And to how tragic the relationship is offset by the comedy in it. So that's why it's just like I said, witty and smart and snappy. I guess snappy or poignant is what drew me to this movie and putting it on my list.
I wouldn't want to talk about Annie Hall because everything that's been said about a movie like Annie Hall has been said. So hearing you try to come up with new words for it is so underwhelming because of the words you chose.
Oh, okay. Well, excuse me.
I mean, if you were a reporter,
what the fuck is this podcast? God damn you, boring movies and you fucking making fun of my movie.
If you were a movie critic and that was your
That's
article,
why I'm not a fucking...
that was your review of Annie Hall, I would fire your ass faster than fucking the guy from Scrooged.
Okay.
Oh, God. So, another one of my favorites from first time watches from 2023 was a movie called Ballad of the Soldier from 1959.
All right. Proceed.
Okay. It's a Russian movie about a young soldier who earns a medal but asks to visit his mother instead of getting the medal. His journey recounts various kinds of loves during wartime.
All right. Cool.
So basically, it's about a young soldier that does a heroic act, not to be a hero. He gets a commendation, and instead of the commendation, he says, "Can I just go home and see my mother and give her a hug? I'll be back in 24 hours." So the entire movie as a stop clock to it, where he has to get hundreds of miles home just to give his mother a hug in 24 hours, and he has to report back to, maybe it might be 72 hours. But anyway, he has to travel a long distance to go and just see his mother because he's like 18, 19 years old, and that's all he wants. He's on the front lines. He's, constantly in danger. And it's the sweetest movie in the world because just to go see your mother, just to go give your mother a hug, and then you have to go back to face impending doom and death. It makes the entire journey completely worth it and like a bomb's going to go off because he has to get back. And of course, along the way, things keep getting in the way of him getting to his mother and then spending time with his mother. His time keeps getting shorter, how long he can actually see her. And then you realize like he's doing this only for a literally one glimpse of his mother, and then he has to go back home. It's tragic because of the situation and the idea of we're putting young people in the situation that have to go to war. They don't know anything about the world. They don't know anything about themselves. And so when you break all of that down, what are you laughing at?
He is snoring again. That's the second movie the dog started snoring during.
This is why I hate talking to you.
So
when you break down all of what the movie is about and what war is about, it really paints a very simplistic picture.
You hear it too now, don't you?
No, it's one of my definitely top 5 of my favorite first time watches, and also one of my favorite war movies of all time because of how futile war is and the depiction of war. It's so simple. It's like you can feel being 18 again in this movie and go, oh my God, that could have been me in some time zone, in some part of history. My God, it was so impactful.
I get that. I get that portion of it.
What's the portion you don't get? The black and white, the Russian.
It's fine. It's Russian. I don't care.
It's the black and white. But Ballad of a Soldier.
Hey, I have a black and white movie on my list.
1959, one of the best first watches of that year. Let's go back into your list. And
I don't want to do this anymore. This isn't fun.
You can tell me about, I'm reading your list now, and I've heard of all these movies.
Cool.
No.
Maybe no.
The only one I haven't heard you talk about is The Grifters from 1990.
Oh, man. Joan Cusack? Angelica Houston?
I don't think that you covered this one on the podcast, did you?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. Well, Stephen Frears directed this movie. He's one of my favorite directors. And of course, you know him from.
I wrote it down next to his name, but I forget right now.
You wrote down what next to his name?
the other movie I like by him.
You're kidding me.
Look at the paper. I'm drawing a blank, but yeah, great director.
Okay.
I'm a sucker for a con movie, like a shyster, Hard 8. I love that movie. That's one of my favorite movies.
Because once upon a time, when you were 6 years old, you thought you were a magician.
I was a magician.
And
I was sworn in.
For some reason, you equate the two things, magician and grifter. Well, I don't know why.
Because you're trying to pull a fast one over somebody the whole time.
But grifting is illegal.
Yeah, it's the baby version of it.
The baby version, that's the adult version.
Magic. No, I'm saying
magic is the baby version. Yeah, so grow the fuck up, you loser.
Well, now I'm an adult, and that's why I like these types of movies.
Oh my god,
transition, man.
Oh yeah, okay. And you would never have the guts to do any bit of grifting besides.
No, man, because everyone fucking gets beat the fuck up. Like if you find John Cusack gets the shit beat out of him.
I knew you said Joan. That's the second time you said Joan. Joan Cusack. You said at the beginning of this.
I don't know why I said Joan. I love both of them.
Would you have preferred Joan Cusack in this role? Or the other Stephen Frears movie that Joan Cusack was in?
Oh, High Fidelity. I remember now.
Hey, we're Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, there you go. The old hamster decided to come back to work.
See that you're like the girl that likes the rock band because the lead singer's hot.
What are you trying to say? Joan or John?
No, the movie is about grifting and a little bit magic adjacent, and so you love the movie, or you feel like the movie's sexy. You don't really.
And Angelica Houston performance in it too, man. You don't know what the hell's going on with her, and then she gonna two-time.
But yeah, you don't really like these movies.
I do like these
You
movies.
just like the idea of these movies.
Wow.
You're like the little girl that dates the guy with the tattoos because you like the tattoos because they're cool.
No, that is not true. I like name them. Why? How? I like all this shit. Like anytime you put one of these on, I'm like, I fucking love it. You know?
Oh boy, yeah.
Because and also too, growing up, my family like gambling, being around casinos and all this shit. You see a lot of these people that just try to fucking scam the
fucking
system.
Robert De Niro? You're around casinos growing up. Could you give more context to that, please?
My on vacation, instead of going to like Disney World and stuff, we would go to casinos.
And you weren't allowed in casinos. So what are you talking about?
I was casino adjacent. I mean, I got to eat in them and walk. You can walk near them and shit. But like growing up gambling, like that whole life,
So it has nothing to do with you. You saw it from the outskirts.
I would walk around and fucking man.
And you sat in the hotel room and
no, I walked
what?
around. I walked the Atlantic City Boardwalk by myself, man.
You walked around.
Yeah.
Oh
and
boy.
went through casino. You see these people. You see the.
And let me tell you, I grifted, motherfucker. I grifted. Atlantic City, that was me. I grifted Bruce Springsteen, bitch.
The fucking.
You are about 10 years away from being the old guy that tells bullshit stories.
It's not bullshit.
I mean, you tell bullshit stories to me every day. So I can't imagine in 10 years what old man Andy's going to sound like.
That's called storytelling.
Oh, God. I can't wait for you to turn 75.
Me too.
It's pretty soon.
Yeah. So maybe another
Personality
year or two.
says it, you know.
Anyway,
You're
grifters.
as boring as a.
Oh yeah, we talk about boring.
All right, I've got two movies. Let me make sure I can break from tradition here and talk about some movies that I really did like that you would be interested in.
No, go ahead. Continue. Finish it off. Just fucking. Might as well be consistent. I want to see if there's one that is like maybe you might. I'm surprised and be like, I'll watch that one.
All right, 1953, Julius Caesar.
I know this. I know of him. I know his story. Tell me more.
Joseph L. Mankiewicz directed, starring Mr. James Mason, John Gielgud, and Marlon Brando, based on the play by Shakespeare.
Yeah. Didn't Gary Oldman play him in a movie?
One of the best depictions of a Shakespeare play that I have ever seen. It rivals Richard III or Henry V or Hamlet. Laurence Olivier, you know, he had the niche. He had the market on the Shakespeare films, but this one by Mankiewicz is every bit as good as those. And it also throws in a huge bit of classic Hollywood where you know this was made at a certain time on a big back lot with beautiful swords and sandals. The acting is unbelievable, as you know from the people I said in the cast. But when Marlon Brando starts his speech as Mark Antony in front of the crowd, you go, he can't pull this off. This is Streetcar Named Desire, On the Waterfront. You know, those are all like tough. You know, this is Marlon Brando playing with the orange and stuff. But this, you go, I don't know. Is he going to be able to pull this off? And then he gets to a certain speech and you go, Marlon Brando is every bit of a fucking genius, as everyone always said he was. And I actually think this speech is the best thing he might have ever committed to celluloid.
Wow. I see this one I might watch.
You will not.
I might.
You will not, because it's in the actual Shakespeare language.
That's fine.
You won't know what's going on. You won't try to interpret. Your brain doesn't
What are you
fire
talking
at
about?
full cylinder.
You're saying I don't understand Shakespeare?
I know you don't.
I understand Shakespeare quite well, my fine fellow.
You knave. Yeah, you're not going to watch this one
man.
either.
I listened to A Midsummer Night's Dream as a fucking school play for 3 months.
Again, we're going back to so you grifted people on Atlantic City Boardwalk. You know Midnight Summer. You started
I didn't start.
Midsummer Night's Dream.
I did the lights and played the music.
Oh my! So the lies continue.
That's not that.
But Julius Caesar.
I had to for drama class.
It's one of the best. if for those out there that are so inclined to like Shakespeare, it's one of my favorite Shakespeare adaptations on celluloid. Watch this movie. You will not be disappointed. And even if you're hesitant, this is one I would start with if you be like, oh, I don't like Shakespeare. I don't understand Shakespeare. Watch this one and you will start to appreciate and you will understand Shakespeare because of the context and how well the movie is made. And you can definitely credit that to Joseph L. Mankiewicz. I've come to the end of yours. So
what do you mean? I had like 31 or 32 movies on there.
31 or 32? No, you wrote down a top 11.
Yeah, I did, and then I have another.
Who does a top 11?
I forgot about one. I was like, "Fuck, I got to put it on there." And then I was like, fuck it, make it a top 11."
You've never seen The Man Who Wasn't There?
No, Coen Brothers.
A Coen Brothers movie from 2001 starring Billy Bob Thornton, Frances McDormand, and the late great
Gandolfini.
There you go.
Yeah.
Smack you in the head. You got that one.
No, man, I never saw that. You always that and what's the other Coen Brothers one? Their first one.
I don't even want to bring that up. I'm so disappointed you haven't seen that yet.
No, I did last year. That was one of my first time watches last year.
Last year?
Yeah.
You watched Blood Simple for the first time last year?
Yeah, we watched it together.
What happens in Blood Simple?
It's quite simple. It's
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we watched together, man.
You need to tell me what happens in Blood Simple, beginning, middle, and end.
We're talking.
Come on, you said you've seen it. I don't think you did see it. I think you're bullshitting me.
No, we watched it, man.
You trying to grift me?
I am trying to grift you. It comes full circle, man. Now you see why that was one of my favorite movies.
Tell me what happened. That's why, like, The Man Who
Was There.
Tell me what happens in Blood Simple.
I don't remember, man.
See, this is what I'm talking about. The Coen Brothers, everybody remembers everything about every film if they've seen a Coen Brothers movie. The ones that haven't seen it but lie about it can't tell you a single fucking thing about it.
Start it off. How's Blood Simple? Then I'll finish.
Really, you don't remember anything about Blood Simple? Not even one hint of the plot.
I'm gonna confuse it with some other movie.
So you've never seen it?
I have seen it, I think. Anyway, we're talking.
Wow.
We're talking about The Man Who Wasn't There.
You lied to me.
No, I didn't lie to you. We watched it. We watched it because you were like, we're going to watch it.
And we didn't watch it, apparently.
I remember it was a gray day outside. It was an afternoon.
But you don't remember anything about the movie.
No.
So you stared out the window the whole time.
It was nice. No, I'm just kidding. It's fucking...
Well, I'm glad you saw The Man Who Wasn't There because that is one of the better Coen Brothers movies.
And it's black and white.
I mean, that's not why it's one of the better.
No. But I'm just saying, the black and white stigma that you put against me earlier in this episode.
All right, I'm going to give you one that you're actually going to want to watch.
I want to watch Julius Caesar.
You're not going to, even though you say you might want to.
Okay.
I was going to talk about a different movie called They Live by Night, which was one of my favorite first-time watches. But you will not watch that movie either. It is in black and white. It's from 1948. Starring the amazing Farley Granger and Kathy O'Donnell. Nicholas Ray directed it. I mean, you obviously know him from...
I don't. Maybe.
Rebel Without a Cause. Okay,
Rebel Without a Cause. Yeah,
which you've seen?
I haven't seen.
Oh my God! What? I don't even know why I'm doing this podcast with you. I think I say that every week.
Yeah, that should have been my first time
show.
Watches.
Anyway,
James Dean, though.
I won't talk about that movie because it'll just bore you to tears. I'm going to leave this podcast with another film, but it's going to be one that you actually should and will watch.
All right.
Although it is what you would refer to ignorantly as a subtitled movie.
No, that's not how I would refer to it.
Yes, it is.
World cinema.
That's how I referred to it at the beginning of this podcast. So again, you are plagiarizing my content.
Or as I like to call it, films.
From 1996, a movie called Pusher.
Okay.
Now, this was Nicholas Winding Refn's first movie.
Okay.
And you know him from...
Did he used to go to the pub? did I buy him a drink once?
He's fuck ugly, mate. No. You know him from Drive. You know him from Only God Forgives.
Don't know that.
Okay.
Drive, I do. I know Drive.
Anyway, okay. So this was his first movie, shot on a very low budget. It is about, and this is where you're going to have to pause because you're going to love this. It's about a drug pusher who grows increasingly desperate after a botched deal leaves him with a large debt to a ruthless drug lord. And I know you. I know you completely. You're going, bing, I have a boner. I want...
Why do you pick like that movie? Like, oh, I'll give them one to watch. I'm sure there's other ones.
Because you're that weird psycho that likes murder porn and mafia movies.
I do like
And
those.
you're
too.
like, I'd like to see society, the dregs of society, because that's where I don't live. I think stand-up comedians are philosophers.
Some are.
Shane McGillis.
Oh, come on.
Anyway. So the only reason I'm saying this movie's right up your alley is because
It's about a drug dealer.
it's about a drug dealer.
Oh, okay.
And it's about a drug deal gone wrong. Money. It's about money and sex and drugs and my God. I mean, I watched this and
Everyone that's listening's like, this is the movie I'm watching.
well, after all mine, I'm sure the normal listener is like, fucking thank God there's a movie that's a little sexy. But the fact about this movie is so brilliant because it's seemingly all filmed by handheld. It was very minimal lighting. And the performances are so fucking good. I mean, it feels like they had no money and no time to do this movie, and they pulled off a movie that my jaw was on the floor the entire time. It is so intense.
Ooh.
It is that good. It's every bit as good as anything Tarantino's done, Edgar Wright's done. Think about any modern filmmaker that does kind of like heist movies or thrilling movies, and then take away like 99% of the budget of the people I just said, and they still made just as good a movie.
I'm intrigued.
The main guy, his name's Kim Bodnia. He is so intense that I would be worried to work with him because from all reports, he was that intense as the character on set, and he's the main character. So you don't know what he's gonna do, and he's a scary individual, but you can't take your eyes off of him. And yeah, it's one of those performances where you go, I want that guy in a movie.
Okay.
And apparently they made 3 of these things.
Really?
The Pusher trilogy. This one was made in 96.
See, like the Color trilogy.
Great. But it was, Nicholas Winding Refn's introductory film, and it's also starring one of your favorite actors. He was also in The Triangle of Sadness, a man named Zlatko Buric.
Croatian national treasure.
Thank you. That's also why you need to watch it, because he is the drug lord.
I'm done. Sold. I love that guy. Fatherland.
So easy. Just so easy.
See, and that's why you're like, why are these some of your favorite first time watches? You fucking know. It doesn't.
And it introduces the world to a young actor named Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh wow. Okay,
and
cool.
He's
Yeah, I love his work.
fantastic in this. Also,
I always want to watch that movie he did, Good Year, or not a Good Year. What is it, the wine movie?
the sober one. Yeah, he stops drinking.
No, he does drink.
Oh, they drink every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another round.
Another round.
I want to watch that.
Yeah, me too.
I thought you watched.
Watch Pusher first.
Okay, I will.
You will really like this movie.
I'll watch the Pusher trilogy.
Don't let the intimidating subtitles deter you
Subtitles
away
aren't intimidating
from watching this movie. You will really, really enjoy this. If not for any other fact, then the filmmaking aspect of it, you go, oh my God, I can't believe they pulled off this movie doing it the way they did. And it's like an undiscovered gem from the 90s. If you haven't seen it, you went, I remember when movies were this intense.
Yeah.
Like coming off of that, we got to sign everybody up that even remotely reminds you of Tarantino.
Okay.
But in a like a hit the streets, swingers kind of way.
Gotcha.
Where you just like get the camera, get some actors, don't tell anybody anything's going on, and let's just film them, running amok with cars and guns and money and drugs. And it's right up your alley. I'm disgusted to say.
Thank you. I will watch this. Maybe even the whole trilogy.
Well, I haven't seen the other 2 films.
Okay.
But from what I hear, they get better as they go along, which is
Wow.
it's a tall order. It's a tall ask because I thought this was flawless. This is flawless filmmaking. Go see it.
Maybe we
go see it in your bedroom.
Yeah, in your living room or wherever you stream.
But that's my top pick for you for 2023 of my favorite first time watches. It's not my favorite first time watch.
But it was a first time watch.
My favorite first time watch was Il Sorpasso.
Give me a little bit of that. If that's your favorite, man, we got to hear why.
It's an Italian film from
Cool. Yeah, that's cool, man.
from 1962. I did talk about this on the podcast already 6 or 8 months ago, which is very disconcerting because this is secondary information that I am passing along to you again, and I loved
El
it.
Soprasso.
Il Sorpasso.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's about an impulsive braggart who takes a shy law student with him for a 2-day road trip from Rome to Tuscany.
Okay. Yeah, I vaguely remember.
Black and white.
Subtitles.
Subtitles, of course.
There's nothing dubbed American over it.
One of the greatest road trip movies I've ever seen. Definitely Sideways ripped off this movie.
Oh, now I remember. Yeah, okay, now I remember.
In a great
'Cause
way.
you say comparative. You can.
So that's all I got to say is like a key word like that. Okay, good.
Yeah.
But nothing else lands, just Sideways.
In Italian.
You're like a little
Rome to Tuscany.
You're like a little monkey. You just point at things. Goo! I recognize that.
Wow. That is not me. I am not a monkey. I like it's just because it's my memory, man.
Okay, stop scratching yourself.
I'm not. It's about to be 13 monkeys in here.
Anyway, that was my favorite watch. I've already covered why. What was your favorite? Did we already cover it?
Well, it was the tie. Begin Again
Oh, it was the tie.
and The Hitcher.
The Hitcher.
Yeah, from 86, 87, 86.
Okay, so The Hitcher, really?
Yeah, man.
Why?
Because it was just fun. It was over the top. It was intense.
You like the mindless one.
It's not that well.
So you like the hallmark of thrillers.
Yes, I do. I love a good thriller.
Nothing wrong with Hallmark or thrillers, and I also love The Hitcher. It's just funny when you break it all down and you get the explanation.
I had
from
a
someone
lot of
like
fun
you.
watching that movie. Thanks, Nina.
1986.
1986. Robert Hagger.
Harmon. That's good.
Yeah.
Jennifer Jason Leigh.
That's like her first movie, right?
Rutger Hauer.
Rutger Hauer. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, but Robert Harmon was the director.
Robert Harmon,
Rutger
yeah.
Hauer, who was
Rutger
from Blade Runner.
Yeah,
famously.
just fantastic, man. It was intense. You didn't know what the hell was going to happen. It's like a great like cat and mouse chase game.
Silly,
movie.
over the top.
Yeah, totally 80s, totally tubular.
Well, I would say if you liked The Hitcher, a better movie and a more intense movie than The Hitcher, just as fun, but by an unbelievably talented filmmaker, a movie called Duel from Steven Spielberg.
I've heard of this one. It's these two guys who keep doing throughout their whole lives.
No, that's The Duelist from Ridley Scott. I'm talking about Duel. You see how confident you were in that?
I was like, I know this movie.
1971's Duel. It's about the guy who is just driving in the desert, and then a truck keeps following him and stalking him. And you never see who drives the truck.
I never saw this one.
And
This sounds cool.
You never see who drives the truck, but the guy is hell-bent. Whoever's driving the truck is hell-bent on killing the driver that we're following.
Yeah.
And a lot of similarities to The Hitcher. This was made in 71 again, so The Hitcher was made in 86. So, obviously it is influenced, but talk about intense. You like The Hitcher because it was intense. Duel is not as over the top. It's more based on realism.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it scarier than The Hitcher.
Yeah.
It's scary because this could happen. You could piss off somebody, you could cut off somebody in traffic in the middle of nowhere, and then they will follow you and make it their mission to fuck up your life.
It's sold.
And that's what Duel's all about. So again, if you liked The Hitcher, you'll very much like Duel. That's another one of my recommendations for you that you probably won't ever see. Because you'll just go back to your precious The Hitcher.
Come on, man! It was a good first time.
It was a great first time. That was also on my my list of best first time watches for the year. Although, be it low,
Yeah, for sure. I can see why.
No, you cannot see why.
Yeah, I can. I just sat through an hour of why.
Listen, I watched Failsafe. You wouldn't get that one. I watched Mildred Pierce. You definitely wouldn't appreciate that one.
Heard of that one.
You know, my favorite horror first watch of the year was The Strangers.
Oh man, that was good.
Yeah, that was my favorite horror film that I had never seen. And I will actually seek that out to study that and annotate that movie because of how much I did enjoy the thrills and the scares of that film. Some other ones were Fame from 1980. I finally saw that about the art school that the kids go to, not the TV series, but the movie that the TV series was based on. Sure. The Importance of Being Earnest was also on my list. I mean, I'm just going to name a lot of movies you've never even heard of.
Okay, I've heard of Fame. And Mildred Pierce.
Ikaru, also fantastic first time watch. I wouldn't waste explaining to you because the dog will start snoring again. You'll start laughing. But
favorite thing ever.
You've given me nothing on this podcast.
I mean, sorry.
I mean, nothing. Literally nothing. You gave me no insights into any of your favorite first time watches.
I'm here for the people, man.
Legends of the Fall was on this list.
The first time watch, man.
Just because of Tristan's golden locks.
It was fun. And Sir Tony Hopkins, man.
Mm-hmm. But apparently your favorite movie of the year was Begin Again.
And
first time watch.
First time watch. And
tied with The Hitcher. How is this tied?
Because it's like two different movies. It depends on what mood I'm in.
I'm not even going to go there. But that's it. Those are our recommendations for best first time watches of 2023. Didn't name them all. Probably didn't do them justice. The ones we did describe, at least from Andy's point of view.
So I did mine justice.
Raven justice. I would say that first time watches are very special because they can't come out the year that you're watching them in, because that's just your best of that year. But when my favorite first time watches are either movies that you've never heard of that surprised the shit out of you, or movies that you've always wanted to watch, you finally do watch, and they're just as good, nay, I say better than what you'd heard or the anticipation that you built up to watch them. And so that's where I'm coming from first time watches.
And for me, it's some of it's discovery and a lot of it's like, I finally saw that movie.
Or we're not talking about your penis.
Well, we got to keep it PG, man. Keep my penis out of
it. Which is what every woman in history has said to you in your life.
Yeah. No,
keep your penis out of it.
A few of them have not.
Anyway, thank you for listening to us. This is the Four Seasons of the Film podcast, best first time watches, and we appreciate you tuning in and listening to us. I apologize, as always, for the performance.
We're looking forward to a great 2024 in this year of film. You know, like we thank you so much. Let's keep it positive, man. We're gonna go down and end it on a down note. Fucking no.
I think apologizing for you.
Apologizing for me? What do you need to apologize for? I came, I screened, and it's over, man.
I apologize for you, and that's not necessarily a down. Apology means, turning over a new leaf, admitting your fault, and going for it in a positive light.
Grifter.
My dead weight on this show is you.
No, it's not me. I'm the one that keeps it grounded.
Yeah, like a mafia boss putting my fucking feet in concrete.
The big sleep.
All right. Anyway, happy New Year to you and your own out there. We'll see you next week. We definitely need to do a next episode where it's what we've been watching lately, because there's been quite a few films we've amassed.
Yeah.
But also the Oscars are coming up, so we'll do our best of 2023 as soon as those Oscar nominations come out, and we've seen them all, or I've seen them all. And Andy lies about most, just like Blood Simple.
What are you talking about?
I've seen it. Tell me what happens. I have no idea.
Hey, man. Sometimes it'll come back to me when I'm just,
I wish film scholars and film snobs listen to this show just so they would shame you someday.
What do you mean shame me? They would be like, you know what? It's a tough road to sow. But thanks for sewing it.
I don't think that's the expression.
I couldn't think of the expression. Just like, I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeVille.
keep film alive.